day, somebody did a video about recently. There's been these slew of Hanna Barbera meet WWE films or something.
Yeah, I'm not very aware of those.
Right, I'm just saying, what in the name of flying holy fuckery?
Not as good as Scooby-Doo meets Kiss. That's where it's at.
I just, honestly, it's like...
Read ribbons.
Yeah, I just like, what? I know Warner Brothers are sitting on a gold mine of characters and they only ever use Scooby-Doo. Because that's all they ever fucking do with it.
Right, if there's two things I've ever wanted to see mashed up, it's the childhood love of my life, that's Scooby-Doo, and Fellatio Cockrock. Gotta love a bit of rough gun.
Oh god. But it's just like, but now they're doing it to stuff like the Flintstones and, the Jetsons. It's like, what have any of those shows got to do with anything like that? I know they did celebrity stuff back in the mid-60s, but that made sense, kind of.
To a certain degree. When you had the spin-off Scooby-Doo shows, I've forgotten what it was called, the Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show, whatever it was.
Yeah, God knows how many spin-offs.
Yeah, you had all the special, that was literally a show just to have celebrity guest stars, just to be there, like Adam West and...
Lauren Hardy, even though they were dead.
Yeah. Oh, they meet Frankenstein. Ooh, what a crossover.
Frankenstein, not what you mean, Bela Lugosi? No.
It made sense to back then, but now it's just like...
It's sad.
The last time I remember the Flintstones having any talk was, but you had those two failed movies back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And then Seth MacFarlane was in talks of wanting to bring back the Flintstones. And
pretty much taking the piss out of all of them, basically saying that Fred and Wilma have an abusive relationship.
I got an erection.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You see the quality he has for the voice, he can do it. But he was talking about actually wanting to bring back the show, do new ones and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I reckon, when he wasn't so busy, this was around TED, I think.
Yeah.
It would make sense to do that, and I really would like to see it, but instead we got that.
But nothing. Well, we didn't get anything. It was just like, I might be doing it, and then nothing.
Have a wrestling DVD.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
What?
No, it's just, for me, that's just sad. It's like, you think to yourself, it's like, these things are older than you think they are. It's like, what makes you think wrestling is going to make them more relevant now than, say, 2 or 3 years earlier?
Apart from a quick glimpse at the cover and gone, oh, Jesus, tap dancing.
Christ.
I haven't seen any more of it.
No.
I have a feeling they've literally just, the reason that thing exists is because one executive, in a board meeting...
Scratching his navel, just going...
Ha! Got it! The Rock.
Yes.
And literally...
Then somebody goes he isn't in anymore. Oh, fuck.
No, doesn't matter. We'll make a rock pun on it. It's the Flintstones. It'll work. Bring that back. Slam. Stick. Money. I don't say... Stone Cold Steve Austin. See, this is where it's gone.
John Cena or whatever.
That's not a rock pun, though.
I know, but it's just like John Cena's in it just because, he's popular, isn't he?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
No, it's just, again, it just feels sad, really. It just really is.
There's milking it, and then there's... Well, who's going to buy it? Who does it appeal to?
Yeah, I mean, particularly here in the UK, wrestling's not that... I don't know how big a deal is it?
It has got a big fan base.
Yeah. But like I said, what is going to make them more interested now that Fred Flintstone's involved, And more importantly, do they even know who the fuck Fred Flintstone is? Because it's not exactly shown a lot on telly anymore.
I've got quite a few wrestling friends that are wrestling fans. Yeah. And I don't see any of them picking up the Flintstones and WWE by any means. And kids today don't give a flying feck about the Flintstones. The only people who care about the Flintstones are animation fanatics like you, myself, Michael. People like
anybody who can remember the mid-90s or 80s, basically.
Exactly. People like my granddad. My granddad was the only person, bless his soul, that I watched Flintstones with. The only kind of person I think this is entertainment.
Would enjoy it, yeah.
It's not relevant anymore. It's a sitcom that's horrendously dated. It's very still. I mean, it's a good cartoon. I'm not trying to diss it.
The thing with the Flintstones is that it was the first. I mean, no one ever did a sitcom, a primetime animated sitcoms. Now, of course, we're inundated with them. And of course, the problem is that even if you did bring them back, it's like, what can they do outside of an interesting setting? Because that was essentially the whole gimmick.
And that's exactly the problem. So whatever you do now, it's going to be something completely different. Yeah, it's got Flintstone characters painted there, they're there, but it's not going to be
about them really anymore.
It's just like the Powerpuff Girls. It's just like, you've got the characters, but that's it. Yeah. It's a completely different thing.
No, I mean the thing with Powerpuff Girls is I don't talk about it. I don't brat about it on the internet because A, everybody's done that job for me, and B, even if I do, it feels like I'm doing the new show service by talking about it, rather than just ignoring it, which is what I try and do. I just literally try to ignore it because it's like, to me, that's...
Might go away.
Yeah, well, there's not that, but it's just basically, it's like, to me, that's not Powerpuff Girls, it's not... I'm not going to go on the whole, you ruined my childhood stuff. It's like, whatever, my childhood's over, technically, it stopped being good years ago anyway.
My childhood was molested by Hollywood Time.
Yeah, but I've done the court case and whatever, and I don't care anymore.
That South Park episode was bang on.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, to me, I don't mind. It's like, honestly, if I get this to me, then it's doing its job of making me react to it when it shouldn't be reacted to.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's the big thing with that show. And at the end of the day, as I said to you and every other friend I talk about it, it's like, there's no... Again, what is in there that works today? I think the biggest problem with the show is that they haven't used what made Powerpuff Girls work then, because it's kind of... It's sort of ran out of steam, really.
Yeah. We're in a different realm of entertainment. What's classed as fun and appealing now is a completely different kettle of fish to the 90s.
Yeah. And
to the 80s even. It's just nostalgia.
Yeah, well, put it this way. I mean, if, say, Adventure Time, Regular Show and Gumball had been on the same time as, say, Dexter, Powerpuff, Ed and Eddie, they would not have lasted within a year or two. Because it would have been just like, oh, what is this weird show, and the tone, and, I don't know, this is bizarre or whatever. I mean, Powerpuff Girls and Dexter, they were odd anyway. They were odd shows, but they kind of worked anyway to that audience.
Yeah, but it wasn't odd to the point of the humour's random and it's not structurally written.
Yeah.
There was actual everything in the 90s had a basic loose story, no matter how naive or silly it may have been. You look at a Powerpuff Girls, sorry to bring Powerpuff Girls back into it again.
Well, I'm saying the one that we remember.
Yeah, the one that we remember, it was literally, when you look at it, the whole argument is that it is cuteness and violence, and that's it, that's what the appeal was. But there was basic story to each single one, whether being 11 minutes or 14 minutes, whatever. Yeah. Now we've got 10-minute cartoons all over the place that, the characters, but they don't have much of a backstory, and it's just all... it's all just
the problem is that even with Powerpuff Girls, the excuse was they were saying that they want to develop the characters, and the problem is, and again... feels like I'm doing a disservice by talking about it, but the biggest problem really, what I've seen of the show, the little I have, is that they're just one-sided. I mean, they really just made them into one-sided one-note jokes now. It's basically got the smart one, the cute one, and the tomboy one, and that's really it. And of course they were always like that, and the argument you could say, well, they never really had a personality driven, but it's like, the thing with a show like that, you can develop characters, you can show more of their attributes and whatever, and you can play on certain things. Like, you can have an episode where the cute one is tough, this tough one is a bit soft, the smart one isn't always right.
I mean, that is a staple that has been about since, forever in cartoons, but I mean, it's at the point now where we're falling back to that 80s and 90s stereotype again. Everything from Sonic Boom to Gumball to Regular Show, not so much Regular Show, but that all seem to be back to the group of characters. It's all the socially diverse group. You've got the smart one, the funny one, yada yada. It's just...
I mean, in Boom it makes sense because you sort of ask yourself, it's like, you've known these characters for a while, but you haven't really had the chance to really show them off.
Yeah.
Particularly in the games, I think that's always been the biggest problem, is then when everybody talks about when they love a character or so in the Sonic game, it's like you only like them maybe because of the design, or maybe a gameplay attribute, but really as a personality, you don't know much about them.
But in the same sense, that's not a personality that's reflected in the game. So again, It feels like a slap to the face. It's not. There's nothing character building in there.
No,
it's just literally, this one's done.
Yeah. And again, particularly since the games are about they're going on an adventure, because that's pretty much the through line of all Sonic games. Is basically, here's an adventure you can go on playing as this character. The show is primarily about what do they do in the off times when they're not saving the world, when it's not always high stakes adventures. It's just kind of down in it. It's just middle of the day kind of ordinary stuff.
See, now if it didn't have the whole Boom redesign an attire to it and did it like that, and maybe explored the characters a bit more, made them more faithful to the games.
But even then, I think people would still like, even if you were to do Boom, if they kept the same characters look, but they still have the same personalities as they are in the show, I think people would still go in a bit like, again, Knuckles is an idiot and all that stuff.
It's just the whole argument that goes back to 2014 all over again. There's no need there was no reason to redesign them. There's no reason for Boom to be Boom. It could have just been Sonic shorts.
I mean, for me, my excuse has always been basically that the point of Boom at the end of the day, from my point of view, is basically it's an excuse to do something new without having to be the whole thing of let's try something new in the main series and everybody getting pissed off and angry and telling Sonic Team they can go jump off a building. Because that's always the problem. That they're always going to complain about you messing things up. And I'd rather have a sub-series where, okay, we can just do new stuff. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. It's not contained to the main series. And that's its own thing.
If we really wanted to, we could have done that with, Sonic side characters. If it really felt it had to have a Sonic design to it, they could have made the whole thing with the chaotic screw. And then you've got a stupid one and the tough one in one character. You've got the smart one that's sleek and fast or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy Boom for what it is, but it's
as a show. I mean, that's the thing. I enjoy Boom as a TV show. Whether you think it was a good concept or not, that's a different story. But at the end of the day, it's basically whether it's entertaining as what it is, rather than what you want it to be.
It's entertaining, but very distracting, and not just to the fans, but to the people who want jumping into Sonic. I mean, here's a show that's meant to advertise and get you pulled in, and then what have you got to reflect off that?
But to be fair, this is now the fifth show, a fifth primetime animated series they've done, and every one of them has been different and not really reflecting on what has been shown in the games most of the time.
Well, Sonic X to a degree.
Yeah, other than again, people would say, well, I don't like that one because the English dub was gay.
It was pretty lame, for kids stuff.
Yeah, again, that's a whole argument. Oh, God, we could be there for an argument about years about that.
Yeah, I think we'll leave that one for another one. To the next podcast.
Yeah.
The Jetsons and WWE Robo WrestleMania.
Did you see that? Did you?